Valve just confirmed the imminent Armory rotations without saying a single word. 960,000 bot accounts banned. And while everyone else will talk about the ban wave, we're going to talk about why the ban wave now, how the timing of the ban wave lines up with what we expect to happen, and how Valve might be changing their playbook when it comes to future Armory rotations. So as we just discussed, a Valve employee on Reddit confirmed the banning and subsequent inventories being banned of over 960,000 bot accounts. Not only that, but a lot of these bot accounts are repurposed for cheating accounts, and a lot of these accounts that were banned were just storage accounts for items that were redeemed from bots. Now, as we discussed in a previous video, a lot of these bots instantly sell their weekly drops and things of that sort to avoid these types of things because Valve does ban these bots periodically. But what's even better for us is that Valve in this ban wave also banned the accounts in which bots set off their inventories to, storage accounts. This is why I don't mind bots. They provide liquidity week to week, and if they're going to be banned and have all of their Armory stuff and all of their weekly drops that they hoard banned as well, then everyone wins. Go play a fucking community server. That's how Counter-Strike started anyway. Pussy. And as we said, the timing matters too, because Valve always does these ban waves right before major economy updates. So basically, they confirm the update without actually explicitly stating anything. Because now, they cannot exploit the volatility that comes with these game-shaking updates. All of those Armory stars they farmed cannot be redeemed on new collections and then subsequently drive down the price once those items hit the market. And they make sure not to ban them too early such that, they keep buying Armory passes, they keep buying Prime matchmaking passes, and they keep supplying liquidity by way of weekly drops through cases throughout the year, right? Valve knows bots will be back. In fact, they probably want it and encourage it by only banning people right before the updates. And they very strategically only let the bots extract value on the week to week in which weekly case drops come in, but those aren't really too profitable, but they do provide a use to Valve. Therefore, they let them stay for that, but they don't let them stay for where real money's made, i.e. the Armory. That's when they reward the players who actually play the game. And we will be rewarded, and the update should be pretty soon, especially when it is known public knowledge that Valve takes their public 2-week, I believe, vacation from the offices in Seattle and go vacation in Hawaii. So odds are we get it before then, as they did last year. But since we already know the update's coming, the question of when is becoming a lot more boring, especially when there's other ones to be asked. The one question that lingers is why Valve has suddenly changed their patterns in regards to how they handle Armory collection rotation. Now, Valve has historically acted in 6-month increments in the history of CS2. Premier seasons come out in January and July, cases come out, or terminals, whatever they may be, every 6 months, March, September, and the Armory, at least additions and changes, have come every 6 months, with the newest pattern that was supposed to be recognized being September 10th, graphic design, gallery, and the character craft stickers were announced to be removed 3 weeks later, so we speculated March 10th would be a day in which announcements happen, not any rotation specifically. So it wasn't unreasonable to believe that this is how they would go forward with removing collections. Announce the removal, allow people time to adjust to the removal, and then finally pull the trigger, without pulling the rug from under anyone's feet. But since we are here in late March, and that of course did not happen, and we can pretty much guarantee a rotation within the Armory in regards to pretty much every collection, charms, stickers, and skins, we are now able to look back with hindsight and maybe figure out why they didn't do it this time around. Now, graphic design and gallery were the under-redeemed one of the two in their respective collections, right? Sport and Field and Overpass dominated graphic design, and the Fever dominated gallery case because of its unique knife collections. I don't know if the character craft stickers were underperforming in regards to elementals, but I imagine they were relatively if they were removed first. Now, I suspect because this was the first Armory rotation, I believe Valve gave us 3 weeks to respond in this specific rotation because A, it was the first time Valve did a Armory rotation. A lot of people at the time online and in forums were speculating that maybe the Armory rotation just doesn't happen and they simply add another page. So thus, redemptions were not realized. People were skeptical of the Armory Pass. People weren't buying the Armory Pass en masse until it got confirmed with this removal. So since it was the first time, giving people 3 weeks in order to go for the collections and redeem them at a higher rate, that makes sense. Had Valve just yanked graphic design and the gallery case, which was a case that wasn't put in the active drop pool, it was just removed, I think you would have had a pretty serious supply issue there, and I don't think Valve wants to create another St. Marc or Norse collection within their game. Those are far too expensive, far too inaccessible, And bottom line, they can't be sold in the Steam community market anymore because of their rarity and because of their price. So I think that they wanted actual supply to come into those collections and create sort of inorganic demand, drive sales towards graphic design, towards gallery, towards the character crafts in those 3 weeks, such that they were supplied enough once they were discontinued to be able to circulate in a reasonable price range. Valve has every incentive to let prices drift upwards, but they don't have incentive to make them drift upwards to the point of infinity. They want graphic designs. They don't want St. Marc's anymore. And while that may suck for us, it's reasonable from Valve's perspective, so we have to respect it and just kind of deal with it. So now in this 3-week window, you have people who weren't planning on redeeming the graphic design collection actually going in and redeeming the graphic design collection. Not only that, because things got removed, you had a lot of investors buying Armory passes for the first time in mass and continually rotating them, which just meant more in general redemptions were happening. So having that 3-week window there, because it was the first time it was announced, makes sense in hindsight. And just because of the simple fact they were underperforming, it makes sense to announce their discontinuations such that people redeem them that were never going to redeem those. Right? The demand for Overpass and the demand for Sport and Field weren't going anywhere. So by having a 3-week window in which people were focused directly on graphic design, pretty much only increases revenue because those people are going to redeem graphic design, they're going to buy new Armory passes, and then they're going to go right back to Sport and Field and Overpass. So in a way, these discontinuation news make sense for Valve, but in the same way, it doesn't make too much sense for Valve nowadays. And I'll explain why. Now these collections, Sport and Field, Overpass, the Fever Case, Elemental stickers, they do not have this undersupply problem. In some sense, they have the opposite of the problem, right? I know the numbers of the M4 Fade are jarring, but they're really not in the grand scheme of things. 90,000 M4 Fades is way less than any other case red, and there are case reds that demand more than the M4 Fade right now. I'm not worried about oversupply, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to market sentiment, and if the market deems it too oversupplied, then it will reflect in the price, unfortunately. So what happens if you give Sport and Overpass a 3-week warning? Well, these collections that are already at a reasonable or maybe even over a reasonable amount of supply for these skins, well, then they're probably going to become even more unreasonable, right? A lot of the incentive to buy the Armory Pass in a way for a lot of people, not all of them, is to redeem stuff that then goes up in price over time. If you, Valve, oversupply things and make prices go downwards after they're discontinued, people aren't inclined to buy Armory passes in the future. You have an incentive to make these things appreciate over time if you're Valve. And by announcing a 3-week discontinuation news, you get a bunch of money flooding into the thing, and then after 3 weeks, the price probably just kind of crashes and drifts down for a few months before any type of price gains are realized. And that's not what you want. If you want a parallel, just take a look at the Paris stickers from 2023. So if I had to guess, the ban wave, the supply dynamics of the collections that we have right now, and the fact that Valve will be leaving for 2 weeks in about 2 weeks tells me that their discontinuation news or announcement to last chance redeem in the Armory will probably be way less of a time window, if any at all. If you want to front run the discontinuation news, try out one of our new sponsors, skins.com. Skins.com is the first marketplace for Westerners on Chinese CS2 skins. Purchase from an extensive list of items or insta-sell your skins and withdraw it from a variety of methods, including bank transfer or crypto. For an insta-sell website, these are truly some of the best rates I've ever seen, and they are soon launching a peer-to-peer trading system to compete with some of the biggest players within the market. So why not get started now and get used to the website? Try out skins.com. Now, let's actually get into the scale of this ban wave and what it means for us in the Armory currently and what in the Armory in the future. 960,000 bot accounts banned. Let's round that to 1 million just to make it easier and put it into perspective in a much simpler way. Now, since some were storage accounts and since some were repurposed as cheating accounts, I won't give you a liberal estimate. I'll be very conservative and I'll say 100 stars on average per account banned. 5 passes for every 2 bots is not that unreasonable of an estimate. Now that's 10 million Armory stars, that's 10 million stickers, that's 333,000 charms or 250,000 skins. And since these are bots and they have tons of stars to go around across multiple accounts, I do believe most of their redemptions are in the skins themselves because they do have high ROI if you do have a high amount of stars to counteract the low ROI you have until you get the high ROI item, which is the red within the collections. So if they redeemed exclusively skins, theoretically, what we would have is 2 million light blues, 400,000 blues, 80,000 purples, 16,000 pinks, and 3,200 reds. On average, right? Each rarity is 5 times more rare than the next. 3,200 reds gone, 16,000 pinks gone. That's 1,600 reds if you trade all of them up, in theory. That's a ton of skins that hold no value anymore. A ton of skins that won't be in anyone else's inventory. They won't be listed on the market, driving down prices. Not only for the collections that are existing right now, but the collections that will exist in the future. Now, when a new collection drops in the Armory, those 10 million stars aren't going to be set forth towards that on day one and thus drive down prices immediately. It'll be a healthy price equilibrium instead of one that's been dominated by pressure downwards. As we know, highly demanded skins usually start much higher on the market than their actual price in the long term. We can just look at the terminal for that. And so when the bots are able to take advantage of that price movement, it kind of disincentivizes players to buy passes for themselves for personal usage. So by getting rid of these 2.5 million skins, you're able to spread that wealth amongst the people who legitimately earn their stars, which is great. If you want to see the real-time action of what bots do to price action, take a look at the dead hand terminal. Every Tuesday, that price goes, but every other day, price has been drifting upwards because the player price pressure is not even close to the amount of bot price pressure downwards. And there's still bots, and there will always be bots, and those bots will be able to accumulate from here until the next 6 months. So prices will drift downwards over time, but they're not going to be a massive supply shock day one because of the bots that have been accumulating the past 6 months. And if anything now, it's even better for the next 6-month update 6 months from now because all bot accounts and all inventory storage accounts have been banned as well. So things are looking pretty decently well there. So do we see a last chance warning tonight or before Tuesday in general? Who gives a fuck? If you're waiting for Valve to come out and say it, it's merely a formality. It really has nothing to do with what happens right now because they've confirmed it by banning the bots. Valve doesn't tell you what's coming. They still haven't actually announced any discontinuation of any cases. They just fucking do it. They show you, they don't tell you. And if you know where to look, you'll be alright. Peace.